In this video, I'm going to be kind of showcasing and just giving my honest and real experience on what it's been like to run an AI agency for a month. Ignore the shadow behind me, I don't have a ring light, but I guess I'll just kind of jump straight into it. So, for those who don't know me, I've been obsessed with making money since I was 16, and I recently got into AI and into the AI agency space. Why did I kind of get into this? I was just scrolling on YouTube one night and I saw this. I ended up watching a video that kind of showcased how AI is going to be taking over, and if you can get in early now, which it is still very early, you can make loads of money. And I saw this, and the person who I watched the video from, he's 17 years old and he's already made $1 million off of this. So I knew that this stuff was real. I've seen obviously proof of this. And so I started it back in March. So I guess this is kind of my 2-month review, not my 1-month review. But I started this in March under the mentorship and under the guidance of the two people, of the 17-year-old I mentioned, and of another kid who's 18 years old. He's from Seattle. Again, made so much money off of this. So I started back in March under the guidance of these guys. And I just felt like AI was really the opportunity of the future. And if I can get on this early, this is my chance to make real money. I've been wanting to make it since I was 16. And so as everything comes in life, I imagined it a little bit easier than I thought it would be. But honestly, with the guidance I had and to the extent I listened to my mentors, it came relatively quick than I thought it would. And so my first month was pretty much all setting up so I'm using Go High Level to house everything. I was setting up all my Go High Levels. I was setting up my funnels, my workflows, everything like that. And I started making a few videos on this. This was going to be targeted towards business owners so I can get inbound leads in. So that was my first month. That was maybe my first 20 days, my first 25 days. I uploaded maybe 3-4 YouTube videos in that time. They didn't get many views. I think I got one appointment in that whole entire month. Then my second month, maybe 35, 40 days in, I created a YouTube video through my community, through my mentors. There's a lot of other people doing this. I had recreated a YouTube video that had already went viral for one of the people in my community, and it went viral. It got 2,600 views. And in those 2,600 views, I had 12 appointments booked. Now, I was ecstatic because I've never been in a business, I've never been in a system where people booking in calls were the source of potential revenue. And so I was ecstatic. I thought I was going to, close all 12 of these. I thought I was going to make $10,000 off this video, but the truth was I didn't. Of those 12, I think only 5 or 6 were actually qualified. So they were actually from the US. They were actually some sort of business owners that could benefit from this. And in that, I think most of them did show up, but there was 1 or 2 that didn't show up. And a big mistake I made is, so I was setting from my phone. When they would opt in, I would text them and be like, hey, this is Liam, just making sure you're still good for the call. One big mistake that I made for a potential lead, which again, it's all as you're learning, and this is a lot of my 1-month review. He was asking me about my systems, and I was so used in the past, because I went through a lot of Instagram, I went through a lot of that. I was so used to in the past that people were trying to sell me, and they weren't interested in what I had to sell. So the way he was talking, I thought he was trying to sell me something. So I told him flat out, I was like, hey man, if you're trying to sell me something, I'm not interested. I'm just letting you know. And he got upset at me and he's like, no, I'm interested in your systems. And after that, that lead was pretty much gone. I said something I shouldn't have, and I blew his trust. I blew his curiosity. His ego got the best of him. I'm not blaming him for that. It was my fault. But I lost the lead there. That was a potential $5,000, $10,000 sale. But that's just one kind of mistaken learning curve in this whole thing. Through those calls, I had 0 sales experience. That's another big thing on this. I had 0 sales experience, and I was taking my own sales calls. I closed no one. There was definitely potential to close, especially on some of them, but I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the closing finesse to close any of these people. So in those 5 calls, in that first 35, 40 days, I had those 5, 6 calls, zero closed deals. But that was okay because now I got the hang of YouTube. I was doing some I was doing some lead capture through email marketing and through Facebook as well. But it wasn't working to the extent that YouTube does because YouTube was building my trust and getting me leads at the same time. And that's a big thing my mentor also told me to do, also told me to really double down on. And so I focused a lot more on YouTube and I knew kind of how to get videos to go viral already. So in that time, I think in the next maybe 15 days, the next 2 weeks, so this is rounding up on maybe just under 2 months, maybe 7 weeks, I had 2 more videos go viral. One of them got 1.2K views and another one got 2.3K views. And in those combined 3.5K views, I got around, this time it was a little bit lower. I got like 8 appointments, 10 appointments. And in that, I think, again, only around half of them were qualified. Note, I was taking calls that weren't qualified. I took a call from South Africa. I took a call from Nigeria. I knew these calls weren't going to be qualified, but I did it just for the sales experience. And so I think of those calls that I booked, I think 2 or 3 of them were qualified. And 2 of them no-showed. I don't know why. I was texting them. I was, being good on my appointment setting, but they just no-showed. Now, the other ones, and this was, again, a big mistake from me, because I wasn't as honed in on this, because I wasn't as honed in on all of the aspects surrounding this, I didn't update my calendar. And those other 2 calls I had, I said, listen, man, I can't make it. I'm sorry. Can you move it? And I didn't understand how fragile leads actually were at this point. And if any of you watching are experienced in business or sales, you'll know that these people did not rebook. That was, again, 2 potential leads that I lost just because of my own incompetence. So at this point, I've lost 2-3 leads due to inexperience and maybe another 4 or 5 people that I couldn't close just due to my inability to being able to unclose. Now, 2 of these people, I had 2 calls. 2 of these people I actually did have success with. Now, one of them was an IT guy from New York. We hopped on the call. I was decently experienced now on the call. Obviously nothing near at that I want to be, nothing near adequate. But in this time, on the call with him, we actually agreed to a deal. His systems didn't complement what I offered completely, but there were still aspects of it that I could have gave to him. And we talked through this and we kind of set that up. And how it worked was I was going to work for him basically completely for free. He was going to pay all of the software costs, but I wasn't going to be getting that much money back. But I wanted to do this for testimonials and for experience. Now, we had 2-3 calls, and after the 3rd call, he kind of narrowed it down to what he wanted to do. And he kind of realized, and I kind of realized, this wasn't something I really wanted to do to begin with, but I wanted to do it for experience. Obviously, this wasn't very glamorous, but I wanted to do it for the experience and the testimonial. And afterwards on this, he basically said, like, I'm pretty much doing this all myself. And then he told me, let's circle back. It's almost going to be spring break, whatever. I knew he wasn't very interested. And to be fair, I wasn't that interested either. So at this point, this is around 2 months in, or maybe, 1 3/4 month in, I had 1 person I agreed to a deal. I had 3 people I messed up because of inexperience. And I had 6 people that I couldn't close. Now, after this, in this set of calls I got from these videos, I ended up landing my first client. He was a solar guy. He was a solar representative from California. We hopped on the sales call. My call was still not good. It was still probably not even a 5.5 out of 10. But I ended up closing him for $1,000. Now, this wasn't to the full extent of what I could charge for these systems. But again, I just want the experience. I wanted the testimonials. I ended up closing this guy. So on my 2-month mark of this journey, on my 1 3/4 month mark of this journey, I ended up closing my first client. And at this point, from the guidance of my mentors and from just wanting to get revenue through the door as quick as possible, I hadn't focused on fulfillment almost at all at this point. I'm familiar with Go High Level. I was familiar with that side of it, and I was familiar with all the concepts surrounding it, but I haven't actually delivered. And I did not tell this guy that I didn't deliver, nor did I tell him that I did. I wanted to be as ethical as possible, right? I didn't want to fake my testimonials, didn't want to do any of that. But now at this point in my journey, this is where I am. So I'm working with this guy. And I'm still getting sales calls. I think I had 3 in the past 7 days. Again, one of them no-showed, 2 of them just, they weren't qualified. That's another big thing. These people aren't qualified because you're not getting the right kind of systems in place. So this is my second month. This is my second month kind of journey. And starting from here, I'm going to be learning fulfillment. I'm going to be fulfilling my client. I'm going to be running ads on Facebook. That is a big way that you're going to be getting clients from this system. But all in all, my honest review of this AI agency, my 1-month review of this, is extremely positive. I've had a little bit of sales experience. I've had a little bit of business experience in the past, but this has been good in almost every aspect of me. Closing, ads, content, pretty much everything. And I believe I have a lot of opportunity to scale now. Obviously, I've missed out on a ton of revenue from this, but it's all compounding and it's all building into my skill and my ability to actually make this money in the future and be able to close this in the future. So my 1-month review, extremely positive. In 2 months, I've been able to make, $1,000, and the opportunity to scale from there is endless. So that's just kind of my honest review on this AI agency. If you're kind of interested in starting it and kind of what I do, I actually made a free Discord. It's nothing fancy, but it's a free Discord for people wanting to start this. It's going to be in the link in the description of this video. You can join it. You can ask me any questions, ask me anything on starting, advice, anything like that. And yeah, you can join that. And if you watched until the end of this, thank you. If you're really interested in this, yeah, you can join that. Yeah, it's my full honest review on an AI agency in 2025.